Hey, what's going on, y'all? RJ here with CV Tech, and today I am doing a request comparison between the Huawei Elate and the Motorola Moto E4. Now, this is on Cricket, of course. This is on Verizon. However, you can get this phone unlocked to be used on Cricket, so yeah, it's all good. So let's go ahead here and get in with this comparison. Now, of course, there is a difference here in screen size from a 5.5 to a 5-inch display. That really don't matter, you know, so we'll go ahead and unlock the Motorola, and we'll also turn on the Huawei. So let's go ahead and go into CPU-Z here, and we will look at the processor. And right here on the Huawei, we have a 1.4 gigahertz octa-core Snapdragon 435 with an Adreno 505 GPU. Has a 5.5-inch display at 720 by 1280, 268 pixels per inch with 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of ROM with 9.06 out of the box. Over here on the Moto E4, we are running the 1.4 gigahertz quad-core 425 with an Adreno 308 GPU. This phone has a 5-inch display, 720 by 1280. 295 pixels per inch with 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of ROM with 10.03 out of the box. So let's go ahead and go back home here, and we'll go into Geekbench 4, and we will just see what kind of scores these two devices here ran. The latest history here. And as you'll see, the Huawei is 655 single core score, 2899 multi-core score, while the Moto E4 got 646 single core score and 1818 multi-core score. Now, it does run 7.1.1 Nougat here on the Motorola and 7.0 Nougat here on the Huawei. So back home, go quickly into Antutu. And 44,535 here on the Huawei and 36,404 here on the Motorola. So let's go ahead here and clear everything out. And we will start in right now with this comparison. That was actually identical. Go into YouTube. That was the Huawei. Calculator. That was a missed touch there. Calculator. That was the Huawei. Let's go into calendar. The Huawei. Go into clock. The Huawei. Google Plus. That was slightly the Moto E4. Let's go into camera. I believe that was the Huawei as well. Let's go into Zedge. Huawei Elate. Let's go into Instagram. That was pretty much a tie. Let's go ahead and go into the Play Store. And I will go ahead and call the draw there as well. Let's go into settings. Barely the E4. Let's go into Snapchat. That was the Huawei Elate. Let's go into Twitter. And the Huawei Elate takes it. Let's go into Periscope. Slightly better there on the Huawei. Let's go in Temple Run 2. Now, I'll go ahead and say first of all that you can look here and tell that the Huawei Elate has a much more vibrant, sharper screen. It just looks better all the way around. The E4 is kind of washed out. Not the best screen in the world, but you know, it is 720. So let's see which one opens up first here. This is going to be very close, but I believe it's going to be the Huawei that's going to take this, as we'll see right now, and it is the Huawei that takes it. Let's go into Subway Surfer. Both of these phones here are very solid. I'll always say the Moto E4 and the E4 Plus is two of the best phones of 2017, in my personal opinion, for budget mid-range devices. But the Huawei did outdo here on Subway Surfer as well. So let's go back home here and we'll open up Sonic Dash. So I can go ahead and tell you right away, it's going to be the Huawei Elate here that takes this test, as it did start off first. But I'll play for a second here so you see it's already at the play screen there on the Huawei. And now we'll go ahead and play for a second here, both of these. Now you're not going to see much of an issue on both of these devices here. Both of them run these kind of games here very smooth. Really no drop frames, no real issues. Both of them just do a really good job playing games. Now as far as really graphic intense games, I'm really unsure about. But you know, there you go. So that is gaming. So let's go ahead and go back here. We will do the RAM management test here. Already open. Had to wait there on the Huawei, so that goes to the E4. Go into YouTube. That was the Huawei. Calculator, Huawei. Calendar would be the Huawei once again. And going into clock, Huawei. So overall, the Huawei here is pretty much taking it. As you see there, that was the E4. The camera, that was very close. I call that a draw. Let's go into Zedge. And that was actually the Huawei Elate. Go back. Let's go ahead and skip Instagram. Go into Play Store. Already open. Had to reload there on the Huawei. So that was the E4 that got that one. We'll just go ahead and swipe away Instagram here. Back into settings. That was the E4. Snapchat. Already open. Had to reload there on the E4. So that goes to the Huawei. Twitter once again. Already open. Had to reload here on the E4. And so let's just go ahead now and go into Temple Run again to see which one's got it here. Both had to be reloaded, so we'll see here if the E4 can actually outdo it here on the reload. It's going to be very close, I have a feeling. So it might come down just to split nothing of a second. So I guess we'll find out here in just a moment. It's going to be, I'm guessing the Huawei, but it is so close. And the Huawei just barely took it there. So we'll open up one more game here. We'll go back here and open up Sonic Dash. And you will see here that both of them appears to have to be reloaded. This will be the last test here that I do run. And we'll just see what happens here when we open in this here. So it's going to be very close here as well, it looks like. But we'll just give it a second here to actually load up. So there you go. That was very close there between these two phones. Now, that's pretty much the comparison. Opening apps. Now, I will go ahead and say this here. You know, this is just a test that I run. Of course, it depends on your Wi-Fi speed. It depends on your LTE speed, how fast apps open, stuff like that. Every comparison I do runs on the same Wi-Fi network, so you can pretty much see how mine does do. Now, as far as cameras go, the Cricket has a 12 megapixel camera on the rear with an 8 megapixel camera in the front, and it records full 1080 front and rear. Now here on the Motorola Moto E4, it does have an 8 megapixel camera on the rear with a 5 megapixel in the front. It has a front and rear flash, and cameras are pretty solid on both of these devices. I have not had a chance to test out call quality on the Cricket phone. Moto E4 is pretty solid. Front firing speaker here on the Motorola up top there, while you have a bottom firing speaker here on the Huawei. So, you know, you can get the Verizon Moto E4 at Walmart for $39.99. Of course, it can be unlocked. I got a video about that on how unlocking my Moto E4 from Verizon. The Huawei Elate at $65, 5.5 inch screen, 5 inch display, both 720. Both are very solid phones, and I'd recommend both of them. But as you've seen, opening the apps was slightly faster and took most of the wins on the Huawei Elate, and also reopening apps. But the Moto E4 running the quad-core processor is definitely no slouch. So if this was helpful and informative in any way, hit that like button. Any questions or comments you may have, leave it down below. I'll get back with you as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video.